Reviewer said that I was the Ronald Reagan of pop. The last label I had before that was the Mickey Mouse of rock. I'm not really a country singer. I'm not, I didn't get into disco or any of that stuff. I think it comes out of folk music, and I think it's populist.
The critic in Toronto called you the Ronald Reagan of...
I like that.
Critics in the past, some of them, have then, still do, take shots at you, say you're too bland for their taste.
They don't say that anymore, but what's happened is that it's like the concert I'm doing now, I think, is a very political concert. I do about 2 hours and 15, 2 hours and 20 minutes. There's about 30 songs in the show, a couple pieces of poetry, and it's a very, very political concert, I think. And so they're not saying that I'm bland, but now they're saying, how can you say a bad thing about somebody who's against hunger or who's working for peace, and who's singing songs about grandma's feather bed? It's like, they fault me for being so populist, I guess, if that's the word. I'm with all the right issues. I'm for the environment, and I'm for endangered species, and I'm for peace, and I'm against hunger. How can you miss?
How would you say John Denver takes criticism?
Not well. It hurts me. I suppose that I would like to be taken more seriously or acknowledged for what I'm doing. And it bothers me that that goes on, and then, that's sort of how it is when I get to go out and sing for people at night, and I love it. I love it. I don't think of it out there.
John Denver on the Today Show back in 1982. When we come back, Denver talks about turning 40 and sings one of his biggest hits.
You fill up my senses.
Brought to you in part by MCI. Is this a great time or what?
I love to call my old teammates, and I can call them anytime I want, thanks to MCI 5 cents every day. So, Bucks, how's the team?
Well, Michael, it's a rebuilding year.
With MCI 5 cents every day, calls are only 5 cents a minute, every evening, and all weekend long. Hey, Bucks, any bright spots?
There is this Australian kid. Got moves just like you.
Stay in touch with old friends and new. Just call 1-800 every day to join.
Yeah, it was amazing. Whole different world.
You were a volunteer?
Yeah. I saw a world that wasn't so fortunate. They needed help. In business, I see a world full of opportunity. To help me take advantage of those opportunities, I invest in international funds with T. Rowe Price. I chose them because they work with analysts all over the world. See, I know what a difference being there can actually make.
T. Rowe Price, helping people invest with confidence for over 60 years.
Howdy, this is Don Edwards inviting you to celebrate the heritage of the American West with Saddle Songs, a 32-song collection from Western Jubilee Recording Company.
As I walked up in the streets of Laredo, I'd like to be in Texas for the roundup in the spring. I stayed
Relive the West through the wild tales of the punchers, horses that couldn't be rode, cowboys that couldn't be throwed.
Over the distant ranges came that old familiar call.
Add this set of 32 songs to your collection. Here's how.
Call 1-800-393-2626 or send $19.95 for 2 cassettes or $26.95 for 2 CDs plus $4.95 shipping to Saddle Songs, P.O. Box 4637, Omaha, Nebraska 68104.
Wyoming will be your new.
They were the class of 1970 at Kent State University. For 4 friends, this was the decade.
We never should have been there with loaded weapons.
That would change everything.
What were you doing at the Watergate?
Except their friendship.
We're all in this together!
The movie event featuring the greatest hits of the 70s.
What's your sign?
This 70s NBC Tonight, 9/8 Central.
Like the mountains in springtime.
Let me ask you a simple question. Only 4 words. You can answer it as you wish. Do you like yourself?
I don't know right now, Bryant. That's a good question. I feel like I'm going through, what do they call it, the midlife crisis. And my father passed away a couple of months ago. And I think that his passing brought to head a whole lot of things. And then you start, questioning what you're doing, the way you're doing it, what you'd like to do, if you're really happy. I'm not very happy right now. And I don't know why. I think it's because I'm a little bit muddled. It's not clear for me where to go from here. I feel in a fairly unique position. I can do just about anything I want to do. And what is it that I want to do? And what is the way to be impactful in a world that I think is in really desperate circumstances? And I want very much to be a positive influence on life with my music, with the audience that I have around the world. And I take it very seriously. And I don't know what to do.
When last I talked to you at a hotel here in New York, you were down. It's a down point in your life.
I'd say it was the lowest point in my life.
Yeah, you're a happy man now.
I feel much better.
Your youngsters are here. Can we bring them up?
Sure, if you
Anna
like.
Kate and Zach, come on over. Come on. Ooh, I know. And don't look at the monitors when you're over here. Zach, you're how old now, Zach?
9.
9 years old? Anna Kate, what about you?
7.
7? One of them has musical talent, you were telling me?
Well, I think both of them are a little bit musical. Zach plays the guitar while I'm playing and knows all the songs, but his voice is sort of monotonic.
We're not going to ask you to sing, Zach. How about you, Anna Kate?
An athlete. Anna Kate's a dancer and a singer.
Oh, yeah?
The artist in the family.
Do you like it when Daddy goes on tour? It's okay?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? How about it, Anna Kate?
I don't know.
Well, you don't know. Okay.
John Denver in 1984, 3 months after turning 40. He was in the midst of a 50-city tour that sort of took him back to basics. As he told Bryant Gumbel, the emphasis was on music, not production.
Well, more and more it seems that people are going to a big production in their performances. I've had a big band, 9 pieces, for about the last 5 or 6 years. And I wanted to see if I could go back to the way it all began for me, to the way all the songs are born, and do a show that way. And I started a year and a half ago in England, and I think it's the most successful concert I've ever done.
Are we getting, because you looked at me funny when I said it a little bit earlier, are we getting a new John Denver, or are we getting a return to the old John Denver?
Well, I think perhaps a little bit of both. I'm older than I have ever been before.
You just turned 40, didn't you?
That's right.
Was that traumatic?
No, it was, a lot of people say that it's supposed to be that, and I found it to be a very reinvigorating experience. I feel like my life is just beginning. I feel better than I ever have. I have a lot of things to look forward to, and it was great to turn 40.
What are you going to sing for us?
Annie's song, Willard talking about the mountains in springtime. I can't pass
It's okay if I sit here?
You bet.
Okay.
You sit in the rain.
No wonder you only got guitars and a piano up there. Who's your audience these days, John?
Well, it's been, I think, the same audience. There are people there. In fact, we've just done sort of a survey, and surprised at how many young people there are in the audience, but more especially how much it just covers everybody.
When we come back, John Denver celebrates 2 passions, music and flying. A tribute to the Challenger astronauts in 1986, when Time and Again continues.
Your afternoon just got smarter, sharper, and a lot more interesting. Join Ashley, Gina, and Mika for Homepage, weekdays 1 Eastern on MSNBC.
In clinical studies, a leading pain medicine significantly reduced minor arthritis pain, increasing range of motion and flexibility. You may be surprised. The medicine in these studies wasn't a pill. It was Bengay. And now, when you use ultra-strength Bengay for your aches and pains, you get the heating power of 3 pain relievers to help you feel better and move better. Ultra-strength Bengay, medicine for your moving parts.
Man has always dreamed of getting to the other side. Some make it, some don't. But at least your phone calls get there. Because Agilent provides technologies for almost every kind of communications network. From way down here to way up here.
I didn't choose to be a wolf man. It's just part of who I am. Moon comes out and boom, stuff gets broken. Get in, can you see this? This was my resume. Hello, I'd like a job. So I really appreciate driveway.com. I can store all my files in one place and access them anytime from any computer.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Henriksen.
She doesn't care for me. I'll always be a wolf man, but Driveway makes it easier for me to be me.
Lucky termites. They think they're getting a free lunch. They're really getting their just desserts. Call 1-800-TERMINEX for termite protection with Centricon. Termites. That free lunch is more like your last meal. 1-800-TERMINEX. No bugs, no hassles.
Right now, you can get a complete pair of prescription sunglasses for only $99.
Wearing sunglasses can actually help protect your sight.
Get them from Lens Crafters or get them from someone else.
The Lens Crafters $99 prescription sunglass sale. Hurry! Offer ends June 3rd.
Yes, that was John Denver and Chuck Berry, a combination you don't see every day, teaming up for the Today Show in 1984. John Denver's love of music was matched by his love of flying and his fascination with America's space program. Just weeks after the Challenger exploded in 1986, Denver hosted a tribute to the shuttle astronauts. I spoke with him about it on Today.
John, is it fair to say that this show is also a show of support for NASA?
I believe so. I believe it's exactly that. From all of the city of Houston, and especially from the fine arts people, it's to really express a celebration for NASA, all it's been for Houston, and the support that these people really feel for that community.
You go back a long way with NASA. I know you have talked for years about your desire to fly in a shuttle orbiter. In fact, you told a Senate hearing yesterday you'd go up tomorrow. Really?
Yes, I would.
Even the astronauts like Sally Ride and John Young wouldn't go that far.
Well, you know, I'd like to discuss that with them, but I'd be happy to go tomorrow. I would have been happy to have been on the flight last January 28th, even knowing in retrospect what happened.
Now, you figure that had Krista McAuliffe, the teacher, not been sitting in the Space Shuttle Challenger because the president decided a teacher would be the civilian aboard, it might have been you?
Yes, I think so. Out of my involvement with NASA over all of these years, and especially the work that I had been involved with in getting this whole civilian in space program rolling, I think I had a very good chance at being the first civilian to go up in space, in which case that might have been my flight last January.
You ever had an official or unofficial commitment from NASA that sooner or later you will get a chance?
It's fairly unofficial, but I've been told on many occasions that I should get a chance to fly.
You wrote a song about and dedicated to the shuttle astronauts who died. When will we get a chance to hear it?
Well, it's a brand new song, Jane. I just finished it a couple of weeks ago and recorded it actually only 4 days ago over in Hawaii. I did the final vocals. The album is scheduled for release sometime this summer, and it'll be part of that album.
What's it about?
The song says, speaking as every man, I hope, that they were flying for me. They were flying for every one of us, and they were trying to see a brighter day for each and every one of us, and they gave us their light, they gave us their spirit.
The tribute to the Challenger astronauts that night in Houston was a big success, and John Denver's performance was one of the highlights.
The theme of the night was Keep the Dream Alive. John Denver, who helped start the Citizen in Space program, closed the show with a new song dedicated to the Challenger 7.
They were flying for me. They were flying for everyone. They were trying to see a brighter day for each and every one. They gave us their light. They gave us their spirit and all they could be. They were flying for me. They were flying for me.
John Denver in 1986, remembering the Challenger astronauts in song. When we come back, more on Denver's own tragic last flight and his life in music.
Join Forrest Sawyer for a special MSNBC event, an historic chronicle of 2 desperate days. No Way Out, The Fall of Saigon. Tonight, 8 Eastern on MSNBC.
In case of fire, this is a good place to stand, unless you're a computer. One company that hosts web servers knows that, and Janus knows them. Before buying their stock, Janus went after every drop of information, right down to their fire extinguishers. Their system doesn't use water. It puts out fires without drowning computers. A minor detail? Not if it's your money. Get there. Janus Mutual Funds.
Call them Generation D, the generation that was born digital and raised on the net, speaking a language of zeros and ones. Now they're at WorldCom, developing web centers, the wireless internet, and for them, it's a joyride. Want to feel comfortable with new technologies? Work with people who are comfortable. WorldCom, Generation D.
It's allergy season. Or Allegra season. Enjoy your world with non-drowsy Allegra for people 12 and over. In clinical studies, less than 3% of people experience drowsiness, cold or flu, nausea, or menstrual pain. Ask your doctor for more information about Allegra and turn this allergy season into Allegra season. Enjoy your world.
Service Master Clean. The clean you expect. The service you deserve.
This is NBC News at this hour.
Hello, everyone. I'm Patty Ann Brown with a look at the headlines at this hour. 25 years ago today, the Vietnam War ended with the fall of the city of Saigon. Today, on the streets of that city, now called Ho Chi Minh City, celebrations and colorful parades. NBC's Ned Colt has that story.
Thousands of Vietnamese troops marching past the former South Vietnam Presidential Palace, now renamed Reunification Palace. Today, the scene of communist pageantry, song and dance, a celebration of 25 years of a unified Vietnam. The city bathed in communist red, aging veterans watch as a new generation of soldiers marches under the gaze of the late revolutionary leader Ho Chi Minh. Now Ho Chi Minh City, this used to be Saigon, capital of the South. Overrun by communist troops, the last Americans fled in chaos. In 10 years of war, 3 million Vietnamese killed, more than 57,000 Americans. Among those returning, American veterans. Richard Lee was a platoon commander, today revisiting the past, the site of his Marine base.
It feels very strange. One piece of me is very excited. A piece of me is sad because I remember Marines who were killed in this area, and I remember the war.
America's defeat, a communist victory. At celebrations in Ho Chi Minh City, the mayor spoke of the heroism of those who fought for reunification. But he also noted the problems facing contemporary Vietnam: poverty, low economic growth, and corruption. 25 years after the war, there is pride, tempered by realism. Ned Colt, NBC News.
Well, Washington, D.C. will be the site of a massive gay and lesbian rights rally today. Yesterday, an estimated 1,000 same-sex couples exchanged vows and rings in a mass mock wedding on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Some anti-gay demonstrators showed up, and there were some arguments, but no arrests. Organizers of today's march hope to draw about 300,000 people. Thousands of Cuban Americans say they've sent a powerful but peaceful message to Washington. Police say close to 100,000 demonstrators poured into the streets of Miami yesterday. They protested the raid that returned Elian Gonzalez to his father. No one was arrested. Several smaller counter-demonstrations were staged in support of the government's action. Although police arrested 2 people, they say those protests were also mostly peaceful. And those are the headlines. I'm Patty Ann Brown. Time and again in a moment.
afternoon just got smarter, sharper, and a lot more interesting. Join Ashley, Gina, and Mika for Homepage. Weekdays 1 Eastern on MSNBC.
I mean, I'm getting killed. Sales are down. Advertising costs a ton. I'm out of water. You got a man dying from thirst over here.
Calm down, Carl.
Oh, that's easy for you to say, Mr. I'm up 40% over last year.
Have you looked into getting a website?
That would cost me thousands.
You know what it cost my company?
Less than this lunch?
Absolutely.
What? From who?
The World Wide Web Institute.
And what are you getting? Just words on a page?
Not at all. The Institute provided the brightest creative minds in the business to create my entire 6-page website.
And what did these creative minds cost you?
How about a professional 6-page website designed for free?
Free?
All you have to do is host with them for 1 year.
6 web pages designed free.
And I'm on the web all over the world.
You just saved me thousands over what I was quoted. Lunch is going to be on me today, old buddy.
Call the World Wide Web Institute now for your free 6-page business website.
There's still an audience out there for my kind of music, and it is still meaningful to them. And that's what I want to continue reaching for and continue sharing.
Welcome back to Time and Again as we remember the life and music of John Denver, who died in a plane crash off Monterey, California on October 12, 1997. Though Denver was piloting his own plane and not on tour, his death has tragic echoes. Entertainers spend more time flying than most people, and that fact has taken its toll. With the deaths of band leader Glenn Miller in 1944, Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper in 1959, Patsy Cline in 1963, Otis Redding in 1967, Jim Croce in 1973, the Southern rock band Lynyrd Skynyrd in 1977, Rick Nelson, 1985, and guitar legend Stevie Ray Vaughan in 1990.
And in Northern California tonight, investigators still are putting together the pieces of a mystery why a light plane piloted by singer John Denver suddenly lost power and plunged into the Pacific off Monterey, killing him instantly. For 3 decades, John Denver was one of America's most successful and cheerful songwriters and performers. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell.
Today, as investigators search for more debris and more answers, NBC News has learned Denver had just purchased the plane only 1 day before his fatal crash off the coast of Central California. It was a home-built aircraft put together by a previous owner. A source close to the entertainer says Denver, an experienced pilot, had flown it Saturday and was trying it out when the crash occurred early last night, about 30 minutes into the flight and only 100 yards from shore. The National Transportation Safety Board is looking for a cause.
He did 3 touch-and-go landings and then requested a straight-out departure.
Investigators say Denver had been trying to send a routine radar code to the tower.
He recycled his transponder, and his last words were, do you have it now?
Rescue crews reached the wreckage in 9 minutes. Mike Tavares heard the crash.
I heard, engine stuttering, and then we heard stall. And then about 10 seconds later, we hear the bang.
Much of the plane is still in water up to 50 feet deep. Investigators plan to rebuild it, hoping to find a cause. Engine failure is suspected. Flying, friends say, was one of his passions. His love for music made him famous around the world. His country pop sound sold more than 10 million records. 14 albums went gold, 8 platinum. In 1977, he put aside the guitar to star with George Burns in the film Oh God.
And how do I convince anybody that I've actually seen you?
Along with acting, Denver was an activist for the environment long before it was popular. The self-described country boy was born Henry John Deutschendorf Jr., son of an Air Force pilot. Denver married twice and was father of 3. Musician Peter Yarrow describes Denver's legacy.
His message and his music is part of who we are now.
Country road, sing, take me home.
Last year, Denver explained what music had done for him.
It gives me the chance to travel all over the world, to be involved in environmental situations everywhere. Yeah. It gives me the chance to do all the things that I love to do.
Country road.
John Denver was 53. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Denver was not flying legally when his plane crashed, federal officials say, because he didn't have the required medical certificate. Federal law requires pilots to have a valid medical certificate to go with their pilot's license, a document renewed every 2 years. But aviation officials said today they revoked John Denver's certificate 7 months ago because he'd twice been arrested in Colorado on drunk driving charges. Authorities say Denver took off in his plane Sunday after playing golf, telling his golfing partners he wanted to try out his new plane. But officials say they found no sign that he'd been drinking that day.
But from all indications that we've been able to find, from talking to people that played golf with him, to saw him at the airport, to the person that dealt with him taking the plane out and getting it ready to fly, he was not drinking.
Divers recovered the engine from Denver's plane today. So far, officials say they found no problems with the airplane, even though witnesses said they heard a pop and saw a puff of smoke before it plunged into the ocean. Because the accident happened so quickly, the airplane's designer has a theory about what might have happened.
There was something very bad happened during that flight. Currently, the best information we have is that he may have hit a pelican, a large bird.
State officials say it will take another week or so to get results of blood tests for drugs or alcohol on Denver's body, tests that are routinely done. Investigators say they have no idea yet whether alcohol may have contributed to the crash. Pete Williams, NBC News.
Soon after the crash that killed John Denver, there were reports that his plane had been low on gas. Investigators later determined that had been a likely factor. His death came as a shock to his fans, his friends, his family. 5 days after the crash, John Denver's brother spoke to a packed memorial service.
Hi, my name's Ron Dutchendorf, and a lot of wonderful people have told you about what a good man my brother is. I say is because he's still my brother, and was implies a past tense, as if something's changed. The only thing that's changed is that he's with me only in spirit now, as opposed to on the golf course, where we'd like to be, or in the air, flying one of his planes. John was a typical big brother. He used to antagonize me at every opportunity. I tried to get back at him. When we were young, I would be the first up. And when I was fortunate, my dad would say, "Ron, why don't you go in and wake up John?" And I'd go in, and he'd be sleeping so peacefully. And I'd hit him with a pillow as hard as I could right in the face. Well, he'd come bolting out of the bed, dashing down the hall, but he never caught me until I'd just made the turn into Dad's view. Of course, he got back at me, well, pretty much ever since.
When we come back, we'll hear more from John Denver himself, in words and in music.
April 30th, 1975, the last American is airlifted from the roof of the U.S. Embassy in Saigon. In hours, the North Vietnamese army would overrun the compound.
Suddenly, the war ended on one day.
A tale of chaos, violence, and betrayal.
When the rockets began coming in, we left them all behind.
Join Forrest Sawyer for a special MSNBC event, an historic chronicle of 2 desperate days. No Way Out, the fall of Saigon. Tonight, 8 Eastern on MSNBC.
A soybean crop yields a more bountiful harvest. A patient has a medicine she needs. A boy can survive a childhood disease. A cotton crop helps protect itself from certain pests. Because discoveries in biotechnology, from medicine to agriculture, are helping doctors and farmers to treat our sick and protect our crops. An American farmer will produce a healthier grain, and an African farmer can provide better for his family. Because biotechnology researchers test and test to find new solutions. Solutions that are improving lives today. Solutions that could improve our world tomorrow. To learn more about biotechnology and agriculture, visit our website or call our 800 number.
It's DTX. They want the numbers now. Okay, numbers sent.
DTX wants our numbers now. Only 2 more departments to clear.
We got it.
We got it!
We got it.
We didn't get it.
This is the wireless workplace, and Aether drives it.
What's up with this?
I thought we could use a bigger office.
Aether, wireless solutions for a portable planet.
On the road, even for an experienced driver, things are not always the way they appear. For instance, the blind spots around a truck. They can be a dangerous place to drive.
Now that's a beauty.
Remember, if you can't see the driver's face in the side mirrors,
Honey, he can't see you.
the driver can't see you. Stay out of the truck's blind spots, and you'll stay safe. For more tips on how to share the road safely, get this free booklet from Shell. Count on Shell.
In the 1970s, John Denver was the most successful recording artist in the world. His greatest hits album alone sold more than 10 million copies. Now, over the years, in addition to writing and performing music, he's been hard at work on environmental and political issues. Now, his new album is called The Flower That Shattered the Stone. It puts to music some of the social concerns that he's been working on today. Good morning to you, John.
Good morning, Joe.
All right, we talk about environmental issues. Tell me some of them that you're working on.
Well, ozone depletion, global warming, deforestation, air pollution, water pollution, it's all there. It concerns all of us, and it's something we all need to be working about.
But I look at for the government to do those kind of things. Do you think that the administration is doing anything or doing a good job?
I think our administration could be doing much, much more, and I would sure like to see them take a much greater leadership role in the world in regard to dealing with these environmental problems.
Like what could they do?
Well, I think that there's a lot going on. You know, we've got this big green issue going on out in California. I think President Bush has done some very good things in regard to coastal waterways, but there's more that needs to be done. We need to take a strong stand about some of these things, even if it's going to cost us some money.
Now, you put a lot of your concerns to music in your songs. Raven's Song, for example, is one. The Exxon spill.
Raven's Child was a
Raven's Child, I'm sorry.
I saw that up in Prince William Sound when I visited there the summer after the accident had occurred. I was again there this past summer, and, you know, they did a lot of good work, Exxon, and there's a lot yet that needs to be done. There was environmental damage, but the problem is we wasted 11 million gallons of what we cannot afford to waste. And do you know that the whole program that they put into place to make sure an accident like the Exxon Valdez never occurs again ends up costing 7 cents a barrel? And the oil companies aren't going to pay that anyway. We're going to have to pay that.
We're going to pay it.
So why wasn't that in place before?
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll listen carefully to what you're going to do now because I know there's a message there.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Let's rise, let me tell you.
That was 1991. 4 years later, Denver was back on the Today Show singing one of the biggest hits of his career. And we'll have that in just a moment.
They were the class of 1970 at Kent State University. For 4 friends, this was the decade
We never should have been there with loaded weapons.
that would change everything.
What were you doing at the Watergate?
Except their friendship.
We're all in this together.
The movie event featuring the greatest hits of the 70s.
What's your sign?
This 70s NBC Tonight, 9, 8 Central.
There are lots of tempting computers out there, so how do you choose? This one looks appetizing, but is it fast enough? This one looks good, but no 24/7 tech support or on-site service. Now a Gateway Select PC comes with a 700 megahertz processor, 24/7 tech support, on-site repair service if necessary, and you can trade it in toward the purchase of a new one in 2 years. All for just $1,299. So come and get it. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
I'm looking for a digital camera that stores images on a memory stick. Hey, do you know where I can find one that's digital? Excuse me, what did he say? Never mind. Which digital camcorder lets me shoot on standard 8mm tape?
This your car?
What's the easiest way to email my photos?
No email, hot dog.
What do I look like, a camera salesman?
You got questions about digital imaging? Ask somebody who knows. Sony. Call and get your free Sony digital imaging guide. It'll tell you all you need to know about digital imaging. You'll even get a personalized recommendation on which products are best for you.
Which digital camcorder shoots at night?
Find out how Sony's digital cameras and camcorders let you capture, edit, and share your life like never before.
Megapixels. Yeah, megapixels.
So call now for your customized guide and get a password to Sony's members-only website.
Thought I told you to move along.
Call 1-877-714-SONY for your free guide.
Let me give my life to you.
John Denver is known worldwide for his commitment to environmental, social, and political causes, but he knows that it's his music that has made it all possible. Songs like Rocky Mountain High and Any Song made Denver a star and gave him the clout to spread his message. Well, now the music and the message have come together in a new album. It's called The Wildlife Concert. John, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian.
All's good?
Everything is good.
This album was recorded in New York City. How does it wind up being, I mean, I know it's a little wild here, but how does that wind up being called The Wildlife Concert?
It's with Sony Legacy, and so we did it at their studios over here, first-class studios. It was really a treat to work there. And it's in association with the Wildlife Conservation Society, based here in New York. And so those things all kind of came together to make it happen.
I saw where you said this album means more to you than any of the others you've done. Why?
Well, it's not that it means more than any of them, but it's an inclusion of a lot of the old songs and some new songs. And I think I'm singing better than I ever have before. I've got some new songs that I think are as good as anything I've done in the past, and I want people to hear those.
You're a pilot, you're an activist, you're an environmentalist, you have an awful lot of social causes. How big a priority these days is music in your life?
It's still, as you suggested, the thing that makes all the rest of it possible. And as I said, I think I'm singing better than ever. I don't know about this time in the morning, but it gives me the chance to travel all over the world, to be involved in environmental situations everywhere. Yeah. It gives me the chance to do all the things that I love to do.
I see you on the golf course every now and then. We don't hear an awful lot of you on the radio anymore. How come?
Well, I think it's been this thing. There are so many of my songs that are, I hate to say it, golden oldies. And it's hard to imagine an easy listening station that doesn't play one or two of my songs, but I can't get the new ones on. And that's why I'm real pleased.
We'll have to rectify that.
That'd be wonderful.
I'll get on over here. You can sing.
The next time I'm on the show, I get to do a new song.
Yes, sir.
Like the same time.
April 30th, 1975, the last American is airlifted from the roof of the U.S. Embassy in Saigon. In hours, the North Vietnamese Army would overrun the compound. Join Forrest Sawyer for a special MSNBC event, an historic chronicle of 2 desperate days. No Way Out, the fall of Saigon. Tonight, 8 Eastern on MSNBC.
Never thought we'd get that brother of yours married off.
Yeah, no kidding.
How you doing? How's the kids?
Kids are good. No, we're thinking of buying a house.
You got the down payment saved?
We're getting there.
How about your credit?
I don't know.
You don't know? You think buying a house is like buying a loaf of bread?
Understanding your credit is the first step toward owning a home. Call for the new free guide on credit from the Fannie Mae Foundation and for a list of lenders and credit counselors.
I love to call my old teammates, and I can call them anytime I want, thanks to MCI 5 cents every day. So, Bucks, how's the team?
Well, Michael, it's a rebuilding year.
With MCI 5 cents every day, calls are only 5 cents a minute, every evening, and all weekend long. Hey, Bucks, any bright spots?
There is this Australian kid. Got moves just like you.
Stay in touch with old friends and new. Just call 1-800 every day to join.
On the road, even for an experienced driver, things are not always the way they appear. For instance, the blind spots around a truck. They can be a dangerous place to drive.
Now that's a beauty.
Remember, if you can't see the driver's face in the side mirrors,
Honey, he can't see you.
the driver can't see you. Stay out of the truck's blind spots, and you'll stay safe. For more tips on how to share the road safely, get this free booklet from Shell. Count on Shell.
People who need people.
Need people?
call a deco.
Why so many days-in hotels near airports? So you don't have to worry about where to stay, no matter where you touch down. Days in. There you go.
The memory of love will bring you home.
John Denver's final appearance on the Today Show came on December 19th, 1996. It was just days before Christmas, and Denver chose a song to fit the season. John Denver on Today in December 1996, 10 months before his death. 16 years earlier, Denver was a guest on Tom Snyder's Tomorrow Show. It was December 3rd, 1980, and Denver sang a new song that evening. We'll leave you with that now. Thanks for joining us on Time and Again. I'm Jane Pauley, and here's John Denver singing Perhaps Love.
Perhaps to give you comfort.
Thank you very much.
MSNBC is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.